Hello, this is Bazileva Alina, and I would like to talk about cinema. Firstly, I'd like to present the history of the cinema. The birth of the motion pictures. In the 1985, the French Lumiere brothers improved on Edison's kinetoscope and invented the cinematograph, which was both a camera and a projector. So, the brothers Louis and Auguste Lumiere are known as the inventors of cinema. In the 1897, the first cinema opened in Paris. Films were simply scenes of moving images, trains, parades, waterfalls. Georges Méliès, a French magician, introduced the idea of storytelling in films and was the first to use special effects. Silent movies. In the 1900s, there were 10,000 cinemas in the USA. An enormous amount of silent films were produced. Most were very short, lasting only a few minutes. In addition to musical accompaniment, piano playing for example, live actors sometimes improvise the dialogues. Next one is Hollywood's golden age, the 20s. Producers left for California where constant sunlight and varied landscapes, mountain, sea, and desert, made it possible to shoot all types of films. Hollywood became the filmmaking capital. Marilyn Monroe, Humphrey Bogart, and Laurence Olivier are three of the biggest names in the history of Hollywood, and they all have one thing in common: they emerged from Hollywood's golden age. Between the 1910s and 1960s, Hollywood revolutionary experienced an influx of experimental filmmaking. These were years filled with exceptional talent, new camera technology, and more freedom for script writers. While the years of a thriving Hollywood industry seemed they would last forever, they did inevitably come to an end. This is the rise and fall of Hollywood's golden age. In the 1927, there was an introduction of sound in the jazz singer, the first talkie. For the first time, sound played through speakers surrounding a theater while the images played on screen. By 1929, nearly every movie released used sound. During this time, there were a handful of genres whose motifs and plotlines were closely adhered to: Western, musical, slapstick comedy, animation, and biographical pictures. In the 1935, there was an introduction of color. The 60s, television age. With the increasing popularity of television, Hollywood's golden age came to an end. Films began to reflect social changes of the times. Some films criticized American attitudes towards Native Americans. It's Little Big Man, released in 1970, or the U.S. Army intervention in the Vietnam. Apocalypse Now, released in 1979. Since the early 80s, there was the computer age. Computers have made it possible to manipulate images and to create characters and things that seem real. The technique of morphing, in which objects change form before the viewer's eyes, was first used in Terminator 2, released in 1990. Film genres. In the early days of cinema, genres were much more uniform and defined. Just as they were in literature and other forms of art and entertainment, people would go to see a war film, a musical, or a comedy. The basic genres were well defined and included some of the following: action, comedy, drama, fantasy, horror, mystery, romance, thriller, and western. From there you could dive a bit deeper. Subgenres were developed to give names and expectations to certain types of films within each genre. Taking thriller for example, you could find the following subgenres: crime thriller, disaster thriller, psychological thriller, and techno thriller. That's all. Thank you for watching.